Mm-hmm. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Could you perhaps speak on some of the solutions that Islam provides in regards to race, and the tensions caused by race, and also in regards to black people in America dealing with their incidental struggle racially and socioeconomically? What solutions does Islam principally provide?
Yeah, the solutions Islam principally provide for issues of race it begins with, as the Prophet said, birru husnul khuluq, that, righteousness is good conduct, and also he mentioned that wa khaliqun nas bi khulqin hasan, that we treat people well. I mean, it's more largely about treatment, realistically. You want to add something? It looks like.
No.
Oh, it's all about treatment, realistically. I mean, I personally don't believe that we can ever stop being prejudiced. I think you can only manage it better. Your prejudice. Everybody's prejudiced. I mean, people prejudice. I mean, when you want to get married, right? You look for a certain type of woman, right? You got say, well, I like this kind, I like that kind, right? I mean, certain types of food, you like. Some people like biryani, some people like hamburgers. You understand? It's part of our nature. Allah, He made us that we prefer certain things, but we can manage things better when it comes to mistreatment and locking people out of privilege, right, and giving it to others simply because of the way they look or whatever, where they come from. So Islam gives us that, and that's what we see an example of the Prophet ﷺ, that anytime he saw even the Africans in his midst who were being mistreated, or being derided, that he had something to say about it, that he, there's so many different stories I can tell you, but that's really at the essence of it, is treating people the right way. And you want to ask something?
Well, just to make it more specific to the black context.
Right.
More specifically, what I'm trying to ask is, how can Islam empower black people, specifically black Muslims, but as well as offering Islam as a way of life to black people? How can it be empower them against the debilitating effects of racism systematically in this country?
Right. Oh, it can do quite a bit. I mean, Islam is not a selfish religion to begin with. It's not only like just ritual. This is private. Private practice. It's also public practice. It's ibadah and khidmah. It's worship and it's service to humanity. And so we have an obligation to enjoy good, forbid evil. But so there are external things, of course, that affect the state of the African American community, or just blacks in general, but also internal things as well that people have to consider. So externally, we know there are a lot of people involved with sort of litigation. They're trying to change laws, but in addition to that, there should be things happening in our community, like trying to reform or subhanAllah, the word is not there. Our family, reconstitute families. We need to things like that. So there are things we need to do internally as well. Islam, focuses on reconstitution of the family. It focuses on overcoming addiction, overcoming, irresponsibility, things like that. There are a lot of things, just like it did to Muslims and African Americans in the 50s and the 60s and beyond. Or even Imam's age, people his age, and he can tell you more about that. But there's a whole lot that Islam can do for us. But I think that if we're constantly looking for, again, a Messiah to come, or somebody come in and hey, he's going to solve it all for us, no, we have to realize that it's a group effort. Educating ourselves. More people need to go to school. And not only pursuing like white collar jobs, they pursue blue collar jobs. People should go into business. There are a lot of different things. Economics is an extremely important part of all of this issue. And one last thing I'll say is that there's been a lot of talk about whether or not we live in a post-racial age. And of course, that question's been answered, right? We were talking that a little while ago. But there's some people who many of us, we really want to live in a post-racial world, right? And I think that that can only mean, it means one of two things. one way you live in a post-racial age is you just simply get rid of all designations, right? Racial designations, right? You get rid of census and things like that. But the problem with that is that you ignore people's experiences, you make it seem like, okay, well, nothing ever happened to anybody, so it's like, so that's not going to work. But the other way is to allow everyone to celebrate who they are. And in allowing everybody to celebrate who they are, they actually has to include white people. You understand that white people have to also be able to celebrate who they are, or we're never going to be in a post-racial age, you see. Where things are right now is that everybody else can celebrate who they are, but white people can't celebrate who they are. So as long as they're constantly reminded that, you're not one of us, you understand? So it's, so there's some things that can be done to help our community. They're both external and they're internal. But on the larger level, and of course Imam Zayd can add a lot more to this, but that's about all I have to say at the moment. Inshallah, we can talk more later if you
Thank you.
feel like I can talk. Okay.